Okay, I am getting the work on my new to me 2010 Honda NT700 Deauville. I'm getting it done slowly but surely. I have fixed the fueling issue, which turned out to be stuff in the fuel. I believe it was caused by stabilizer that was put in the gas tank by the original previous owner that I bought the machine from, with 7,600 miles on it. And I believe the bike had been sitting for years and years. That's why he put the stabilizer in. And that stuff just hardened and laid at the bottom of the gas tank, and I get the bike and I ride it after he put fuel in it and had new tires put on, which he paid over $700 for, a set of Michelins. And they're new. They're not old new stock. They are from 2022, and it's now 2024. But I believe it was just sitting in his garage, and he wanted to finally get rid of it. So he had somebody take it and put new tires on it and put a new battery in it and inspect it. And they put gas in it and it ran, and he got the bike back, and I bought it, and then it quit on me. After the fuel in the tank finally loosened that stuff and had it sloshing around in the gas tank from riding it, and it finally completely plugged the inside the gas tank fuel pump filters. There's two filters. There's a small filter at the bottom of the fuel pump, and then there's a wrap around the fuel pump of very fine, very open plastic mesh. It looks like the material you would buy a plastic net full of oranges in at the grocery store. It's all balled up and rolled up and wrapped around the filter as sort of like a pre-filter filter. But anyway, so far I have added heated grips. There's the controller. There's the grips. I have eliminated the bar end weights. Now, I don't know if that's going to cause a harmonic vibration that the bar end weights were preventing or reducing. They generally don't do things like that for no reason. But we will see. I haven't ridden it yet. It's only, the temperature today is in the 40s. All right. So we will see. If I have to put the weights back on, I can punch out the end and put the weights in. If I cookie cutter around here, I have the same brand of heated grips on my Yamaha Venture, and I had to cut the end out for the bar end weights. A little bit of play in there. I don't like that. But anyway, I am getting there. This bike came with a C. Bailey windshield with a different profile. It sort of curves up at the end here. And the guy I bought it from said that reduces the buffeting, and it sort of smooths out the wind you do get. And I rode the bike. I did get to ride it for a couple hundred miles, maybe a little less, until it finally conked out on me 40 miles from home with the fuel problem. But I did notice that this fairing design with these added optional ends here on the fairing, they seem to smooth out the air coming off of the fairing. I also bought new covers for the bumpers because these are both veterans. You can see they on both sides. What I did was I just took shoe polish to them to blacken them, and I did it to this too. This was getting a little chalky looking, and I just took regular shoe polish. Now I don't know how that's going to hold up to me using my usual, what I clean motorcycles with, the Honda spray detailer cleaner and polish that you can spray on a motorcycle and never have to put water on it. I don't wash my motorcycles with water. I never have. I'll clean the wheels when I put new tires on, or when I have it up on the stand, I will spin the wheel and use a rag and some of that polish to clean off. But I do not use water and soap. There's just too many places that depend on lubrication, like your clutch and brake lever pivots, your steering head bearings, your shifter pivot, your foot pegs, your center and side stands. And especially, I would never attack a motorcycle with a pressure washer. My gosh. You force all that stuff into your electrical connections, down your cables, into your wheel bearings. You can do, I've seen it. I've seen water forced into the rear axles of quads. Shop I used to work at, we told people, if you bring your quad in for service and it's caked with mud, we're going to charge you an hour to clean it. And so the people would drive to a car wash and use a pressure washer on it, bring it in. I'd pull the axle, and out would come about 12 ounces of rust-colored water. So I do not use pressure washers on any of my vehicles. I have, what else have I done? I've added these bar risers. These are not only bar risers, but they are setbacks. They go in the original perches, and then they move them back. And there was a big block of aluminum on here. It was a bar riser setback. It weighed over 3 pounds. It's a big name in, it's not Healy. It's some other company that makes bar risers for a lot of motorcycles. But I was a little surprised to see how big and heavy that thing was. I mean, these bar risers weigh a couple of ounces each. You know, there's not much to them. The cap, and it just goes right on. That's where I mounted my controller for my heated grips. Right there. And I've got a new air filter in it, not too hard. Taking the plastic off is a learning process, but once you've got it, it's not that bad to take the plastic off of these. You actually have to learn how to use the key on these things. Okay, now I can pull the trigger to lower the saddlebag, and now I can get to the lever to open the seat. And the seat is no easy thing to remove either, but you can't get the key out until you close the lid. It won't come out. Never had a motorcycle that did that. There we go. It's the same with the gas cap. You have to have the key in there to get the key out. It has to be closed to get the key out. I mean, won't come out. I guess that's a good thing. I'm not sure. I've just never seen that before. And what else can I tell you so far? I'm anxious to get going here. It's still February here. Or I think it's around the 24th or 25th. February 2024. And I only bought this about 7 or 8 weeks ago. Then winter hit. And it wasn't really that bad this year, right, Chuck? People cry about global warming. I am digging it. You know, we have only had about 10 or 12 inches of snow. It snowed last night, but then the sun came out and melted it, and I'm digging it because I remember working outside back in the 80s in snow, sometimes up to my knees on my job. And I remember looking forward to the day when the snow would not be there, that I could walk without lifting my whole foot up to get through the snow. So no complaints from me about the temperature being a little warmer, or we're having less snow here. Of course, that doesn't apply to California. They're getting record snow 2 years in a row. So anyway, that's what's going on. I pretty much have it done. Oil's changed, final drive's changed. I changed the air filter. I installed the grips. I took off the luggage rack that the factory optional color matched trunk fits on right there. That's enough storage for what I want to carry: rain suit, tire repair, electric vest, change of gloves, water, baby wipes, emergency stuff in a little tank bag that I switched from my Kawasaki to this. And I was very surprised when I went for the toolkit. There was no toolkit, and I called the original owner and said, did I forget the toolkit? He said, you know, I've never seen a toolkit, because they specify a very special tool to remove the spark plugs. And I did some online research, and it turns out that these machines came to the United States without toolkits. So what is up with that, Honda? I ended up making up a toolkit, going through my junk drawer with all the toolkit tools that I took out of toolkits over the decades and upgraded to better tools. So I still have the original stock tools, and here I am making up a toolkit with those tools. And when you have tools in your toolkit, you may want to do some of your maintenance or some emergency stuff, like if you have to get at the fuse box, or if you have to get at the headlight to change a bulb, or something like that on a small weekend trip somewhere. You want to make sure those tools are going to fit, like the axle nut and all the Allens and things like that. So, and plus I add little things to my toolkit, like zip ties, the end of a roll of electrical tape, stuff like that, which I made room for under the seat. I made such a big toolkit, I can't fit everything under there in one pouch. I had to make up two pouches. One goes under the seat, one goes in the left saddlebag. And the reason I put stuff I always carry in the left saddlebag is because that way I know the stuff is in there. My tire repair kit, my shoes for walking when I get to a destination. I don't want to walk around in my motorcycle boots. Of course, the rain suit, my heated vest, my change of gloves. I will keep them in the left bag. Why is that? That's because when I use the side stand, the bike will be leaning to the left, and opening and closing the left saddlebag, sometimes the things, it's harder to get them to go back in and close it. So I put all this, the must-carry stuff in the left bag, and I leave the right bag opened. Because if I want to stuff a jacket for hot weather in there, you know, when you leave in the morning, I'll wear leather. And if the temperature gets up to over 80 degrees Fahrenheit, I'll want to switch to a vented jacket. So I'll keep that in the right side. Or if I stop somewhere to get groceries or something, I have room. I always keep my right bag open. And when I open it, things won't fall out because it's leaning to the left. My crows are coming for their lunch. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. I have a few more things to do. Like I want to drill a hole in this oil filler cap somewhere so that I can zip tie it so that it does not want to unscrew itself. Let's see, I guess I could come up from here pulling this way, and that is pulling in the clockwise direction. But I do that on all my motorcycle filler caps, like on my Kawasaki here. That's how I did it there. And on my Royal Star Venture, I think I'm gonna need a flashlight. That's how I did it there. I removed these 3 screws and removed these fake fins. I'm sure they do absorb some heat from the cylinder, and they do probably provide some cooling, but they are just beauty covers. And I took them off and I drilled a hole in the bottom fin so that I could put a zip tie on there. I've been a victim of cabin fever here, and when the weather finally does hit 65 degrees, I don't know which machine I want to ride first. I want to ride them all. I'm going to install, I bought some real horns, and these are going to go, I'm going to make a video on horn installation. I'm going to mount them to the front below to these lugs, these holes right here. Now, when I ran my wire harness for my heated grips, the battery's on the left side. I ran the harness down, and I ran the harness beside existing wire harnesses. Okay, taking the same path, making sure they wouldn't get pinched by the seat or the gas tank or rubbed or get caught in the cooling fan. So they follow that path, and since I am going to be adding horns, when you add horns, you want to add heavier gauge wire from the battery to the relay, and from the relay to the horns. Now I added a wire. It's down there somewhere. It's that black wire right there going into that lug hole. That's where the horns are going to be. You only need one wire to feed horns. You don't need a path to ground, because connecting the positive to the horns, you have 4 terminals on 2 horns. 2 and 2. You can just hook one wire from the battery to one terminal on one of the 2 horns. Okay? Then you connect a jumper between 2 terminals on from one horn to the other, And then the last terminal, you just hook that straight to ground, and that's the same as connecting it to the battery, because your battery is grounded on the ground side of the battery. Do that with the horn, and it's the same thing as running a second wire. And I used heavier gauge wire, and I'm going to show you in the video how to wire up a horn relay. And I bought those horns on eBay. I think they were like $16 or $18, free shipping. And I bought a whole bunch of horn relays. I think I bought like 10 of them. And there's generally 4 or 5 terminals on a horn relay. I'll go into explaining which terminals you hook up to. The numbers on terminals generally, not always, the numbers are generally 85, 86, 87, and 30. 87 and 30 go from the positive on the battery to the relay, and then out of the relay on number 80. That would be number 30, and then number 87 would be the feed directly to the horns. That number 85 and 86, you would hook up your 2 existing wires that go to your horn on your motorcycle from the factory, and that will control the switch. When you hit the button, you're just completing a circuit that closes the switch. Closing a switch means you're turning it on. When you turn the lights on in a room, you are closing the switch. Anyway, that's basically how you wire these, and how you wire a horn relay. But anyway, it's coming along. It's ready to go right now. I just want to add the horns. And as cold as it is today, I would be using those heated grips. And I think I'm gonna put this little trunk and this little rack on that machine. And I think I might be parting with this machine if that is going to be as useful and well-rounded, be happy in the city and on the back roads as I think it's going to be. And I will keep the Venture and the NT700 if it behaves. And I'll buy my 5th Moto Guzzi. I always wanted a Moto Guzzi. What is the name of that model? A Breva 1100 or a 750. I had my last Moto Guzzi was a Moto Guzzi Norge, or Norga, as they say in Italy, which is the name of Norway, indicating or celebrating the guy that invented motorcycle suspension, Mr. Guzzi, and his ride from Italy up to the furthest point you can ride on the roads in Europe, in Norway, the North Point, or the North Cape it's called. And he did that almost 100 years ago on the first motorcycle with suspension, which was a Moto Guzzi. But anyway, everybody here in the United States hears the name Norge and they think of Norge refrigerators. That used to be a company. Anybody my age would think of that. That's the first thing I thought of. Okay, well, anyway, that's what's up today. I just need to take some photos of this for my eBay channel, because when I make a video and they give you 3 pictures to choose for the main photo that people would search and see, I don't know why, but they're always lousy. A lot of my photos, if you look at my channel, they're pretty crummy. So I'm trying to take some photos and I'm going to substitute them once I learn how to navigate editing. So anyway, that's what's up today. I'll see you there.